Well, from what I gathered, he basically was trying to say no one should compare NBA and WNBA players together because he could beat you guys in basketball in one-on-one when he was in 8th grade and you guys were in high school.
I think, and this is my personal opinion,
Sophie Cunningham is about to do what she does best, make her haters cry, not once, but twice. First, she dropped a truth bomb that shook the WNBA. Then, before anyone could catch their breath, she followed it up with a massive announcement about her basketball future that's sending shockwaves through the entire league. Let's get right into what happened. But first, give this video a like if you love a good old-fashioned Sophie Cunningham truth bomb. All right, so here's how this all started. It all kicked off when NBA star Michael Porter Jr. went on the Ball in the Family podcast with Lonzo Ball. These guys are sitting around having a casual conversation, and somehow the topic shifts to the WNBA. And when they start talking about at what age NBA players could beat WNBA stars, well, let's just say they didn't hold back.
I mean this as respectfully as possible, but 9th grade Lonzo Ball in the WNBA, it's going crazy. In 9th grade, I'm over 6 feet, and I'm dunking. Like, I'm coming through like, no girl in the WNBA is doing that. I'm going back door, throw it up. Like, I'm looking like Jordan out there.
I'm gonna go probably 8th grade. Because look, bro, I have real experience doing this because I played, my sisters went to University of Missouri and I was still a young dude, and they had me playing like on the scout team. And they had a few WNBA players on the team, like Sophie Cunningham and a couple others. And I think I was like in the 7th or 8th grade going dumb.
So yeah, between him and Lonzo, they're basically saying top middle school players would go to town on WNBA stars. And as you'd expect, there was instant backlash. Retired WNBA star Angel McCautry went on the Higher Learning podcast and absolutely went off on Porter.
Angel, why are men so obsessed with this conversation?
First of all, congratulations. You was dominating against women in the 8th grade. What does he want? Does he want a cookie? You want a medal for that? Like, the only thing that should be coming out of a man's mouth about women is uplifting her.
Okay, so this is the first thing we've got to dissect here because I think it speaks to a fundamental problem in the WNBA. She starts by saying that the only thing he should be doing is uplifting women. In other words, no criticism allowed. But here's the thing, it's sports. There's always going to be comparisons, and there's always going to be criticism. Fair or unfair, it comes with being a high-profile athlete. Okay, back to Angel, because what she said next got everyone talking.
I think the main thing we should be talking about, a woman, guess what? When I gotta come and drop 40 and I'm on my period and I'm bleeding, and my stomach hurts and my back hurts when y'all load manage off a headache. Let's talk about how awesome that is. Let's talk about how awesome it is that women, we have these babies and we come back and still dominate sports.
Look, I'm not going to spend too much time breaking this down, but I have to address a couple of things. Load management? Really? WNBA players for the longest time played a 34-game season. Now it's 44 games. The men play 82 games in the regular season, plus playoffs, plus international commitments, plus all-star weekends. Playing through discomfort is literally part of being a professional athlete, regardless of gender. And this next statement from Angel was the cherry on top.
This is a narrative from Michael Porter Jr. Do you have any thoughts on him?
He talks about the WNBA a lot. I would love to see him come practice with us one time. Come practice with us. You know, I think he needs to see the ins and outs of how hard we do work and how much we do put our bodies through. Because sometimes they just look through this lens from the outside and they don't really see the inside. And I think if he came and spent the day with us, he would have a new appreciation.
Here's the thing that Angel seems to be missing entirely. What Michael Porter Jr. said had absolutely nothing to do with work ethic, nothing to do with dedication, nothing to do with how hard WNBA players train. He can fully appreciate and respect how hard these women work. Nobody's questioning their commitment to the game. All he's saying is that at age 14, he could absolutely smoke any WNBA player in a one-on-one game or a pickup run. And that brings us to Sophie, who you may remember was called out specifically by Michael Porter Jr. when this topic came up. You'd figure if anyone would be an authority on the issue, it would be the person mentioned. Sophie addressed his statement on her podcast, "Show me something," and let's just say, it put the narrative to bed and made a whole lot of people upset.
if you are a professional football player, basketball player, really any sport, but let's just take it basketball because that's where we're both at. Like, to me, like, if if you're in that elite level group, yeah, you should be able to beat the girls. Like, I'm not surprised by that. Like, that is not, but I just don't get why it's continuing to get brought up. And like, if women are saying that, like, he couldn't beat them, yeah, he could. Any NBA star or player could beat a female in high school.
Okay.
Sophie doesn't see anything controversial about that statement. And honestly, should anyone really? She's just being honest. She's acknowledging reality. There's no malice in it, no disrespect intended. And when she was pressed on it again, she doubled down even harder.
Do you think an 8th grader could hang? A group of elite 8th graders could beat a WNBA team?
I mean, if they're future pros, dude, I mean, it just depends how big they are at that age. Like,
well,
yeah. And the majority of the time, if they're going pro, unless you're a late bloomer, like, you're already pretty big. And like, I mean,
there are massive 8th grade boys.
Yeah. So I would say that's like, I mean, it's probably true. Like I don't want to be unrealistic or delusional. Like, men are just stronger, bigger, athletic. Like, they just are a different build. And so if you put them up against females, I'm like, well, yeah, they're going to win.
Now, one of the questions that was brought up to both Angel and Sophie was why this topic keeps coming up over and over again in basketball discourse. It keeps coming up because there are actually people out there who genuinely believe WNBA players could compete with NBA players. There are fans, commentators, and media personalities who have legitimately argued that top WNBA stars could play in the NBA.
That's why it gets brought up, Sophie Cunningham, because a lot of ladies do say that they can beat the men. That's why it gets brought up to a certain extent. A lot of people do say that these WNBA players can beat a D1 college kid, can beat a high-level elite high school kid. A lot of fans in the WNBA say this, think this, believe this, will die on a hill professing this.
Now, regardless of the merits of her argument, Sophie took an avalanche of heat from hardcore WNBA fans for her honesty. They came at her from every angle, calling her a pick-me, accusing her of diminishing women's accomplishments just to keep her male fan base happy, saying she was throwing her own league under the bus for clicks and attention. All because she answered a straightforward question honestly and simply, without the political spin that people have come to expect. But if fans thought they were upset about Sophie's truth bomb, well, that was just the warm-up act. Sophie had yet another massive bomb to drop on the WNBA. And this one has way bigger implications for the future of women's basketball.
Guys, I am so excited to announce that I'm actually joining Project B's athlete roster. I am so thrilled for it. It is giving women's basketball a platform that is much deserving, not only here in the United States, but across the world. So come on this journey with us.
That's right, Sophie Cunningham has officially joined Project B, the new international off-season league that is paying players a minimum of $2 million per season. Let me repeat that. The minimum salary is $2 million. And this move is yet another dagger straight into the heart of the WNBA. Project B has been ramping up their signings over the past few weeks, and they're not messing around. It started with Nneka Ogwumike, who is the president of the WNBA Players Association, in the middle of a heated CBA negotiation, which is going absolutely nowhere. Now, Sophie's signing is a particularly big deal for the new league because Sophie, in 2025, established herself as one of the most popular and marketable players in the entire WNBA.
Sophie Cunningham, if you guys don't know, is, by all metrics, one of the 4 biggest players in the WNBA. And I say one of the 4 biggest because there is an argument to be made in terms of virality, in terms of popular culture, in terms of who's the most well-known, in terms of, for lack of a better word, polarizing. Like, you either love Sophie Cunningham or you hate Sophie Cunningham. And a lot of non-WNBA fans love Sophie Cunningham because she just says whatever the fuck she thinks.
Now, of course, there was a lot of blowback to this announcement, and not just because Sophie is controversial. Project B, from what we know publicly, has Saudi backing and financial support. And many people are complaining about the ethics of taking Saudi money, about potential sports washing, about supporting a regime with a questionable human rights record. But now, with both Sophie and Kelsey Mitchell, 2 of the Indiana Fever's biggest stars, signing with Project B, the floodgates have opened, and fans are starting to ask the obvious question: who's next?
The signing of Sophie Cunningham elevates Project B into must-watch TV territory. fair play, Soph. It'll be interesting to see over the coming months what other Fever players follow you and Kelsey. You've really got to wonder, is Lexie Hull not far behind? I mean, let's be real here. Minimum $2 million a year salary, and that is the minimum.
Think about this from the player's perspective for a second. A lot of these women haven't made more than a couple $100,000 in an entire WNBA season. That's their entire year's salary, and now they're getting offered at least 10 to 20 times their current salary just to play basketball overseas for a few months. And that's just the minimum. We're talking about the floor, not the ceiling. The more top players that go to Project B, the more legitimate a league it becomes. And with Sophie and Kelsey signing, you have to think Fever fans will follow them and tune into Project B games. Project B has publicly stated they hope to become legitimate competition for the WNBA someday, and honestly, that might happen way sooner than anyone expected, especially if there's no 2026 WNBA season because of a labor dispute. I have a feeling we're going to see a few more absolutely huge signings in the coming weeks, and the WNBA should be terrified. Lexie Hull could be signing with Project B before we know it, and honestly, I would not be surprised by that one bit. And I'd bet we'll see Angel Reese sign. She's got the star power, the social media following, and she's not afraid to make controversial moves for the bag. But the elephant in the room, the name everyone is whispering about, is obviously Caitlin Clark.
You know, there's like, 3 other names that people are really waiting on. Well, look, they're waiting on Caitlin Clark above everybody else. All right? They're waiting on Caitlin Clark above everybody else. Because if they get Caitlin Clark, the league's going to be successful. A'ja Wilson and Angel Reese are the other 2 names everybody is waiting on. Angel's not in Unrivaled. A'ja hasn't played in any off-season leagues. I still think Caitlin Clark could end up making a lot of damn money here.
I made a video about this exact scenario when Project B was first announced, and I stand by what I said then. I think Caitlin Clark could easily pull upwards of $100 million or more to join Project B if it's a multi-year contract. Maybe even more if she plays hardball in negotiations. I know she doesn't need the money. She's already set for life with endorsements. But it's tough to turn down that kind of generational wealth. Her 8-year Nike deal is reportedly worth around $28 million total. Imagine making $30 million or more in just one season with Project B. That's life-changing money, even for someone already wealthy. And here's the kicker. If A'ja Wilson or Sabrina Ionescu sign up next, and suddenly all the top talent in women's basketball is playing in Project B, all bets are completely off. It's 5-on-5 basketball. There's no schedule conflict with the WNBA season since it's in the off-season. And if there's no 2026 WNBA season because of a lockout, you'd have to think Caitlin will want to play competitive basketball somewhere, right? Yeah, she's going to play for Team USA, but other than that, she's not going to just sit at home until May 2027. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. The drama doesn't stop, the stakes keep getting higher, and we absolutely cannot wait to hear what Sophie has to say next. If you're still here watching, drop a W in the comments because you're a winner for sticking around. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.